Welcome to the WineDown, an afternoon podcast where two techie blokes sit down over a bowl of wine and chat about what's happening in the world of tech. Enjoy while Scott and Nick open up about their week in technology.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, hello, Happy New Year, and welcome to the first episode of the Lockdown or in ISO WineDown 2022. I'm Nick, and with me I have...
Scott.
Hello, Scott, how are you?
Good, thank you. Hello, Nick, and yes, Happy New Year.
Yes, that's exciting, isn't it, really, when you think about it?
Yes, how long into the new year can you keep saying that and get away with it?
Well, we're still in January. I think for the whole of January you're probably okay, right?
Oh, well, that sounds good then.
So, first of all, where are we? What are we drinking?
Yes, as you mentioned, we are back in our little lockdown things from lack of ability to be together at a public house. But look, I've got something different. I've got a giraffe today. It's a nice little
giraffe. That's not you pronouncing giraffe wrong.
No, it's not a giraffe. It's actually a giraffe, D-U-R-I-F, named after the person who actually, I won't say discovered it, I'll say accidentally created it.
Wow.
So it's actually, a giraffe is actually it's a spin-off of a Syrah and another thing called a Palicin that we don't really have a lot of. It's a type of grape we don't have a lot of here, but in France, a number of years ago now, they're growing some Palicin and they're growing some Syrah, and the two of them got together and woohoo, okay, and they spun off this little combination of a blend, and they named it after the guy who managed to let the two things grow too close together, and
Oh, wow, that's pretty awesome. So for me, seeing as we're in lockdown, and I learnt the last time that when we're together, we can share a bottle of wine, and that's lovely. When we're apart, it tends to be a bottle of wine each. So my BWS down the road has a whole stack of little half bottles. So I'm getting half bottles for this. So that's why I'm back to something I've had before, which is the let's move this across. There you go, the Elephant in the Room Palatial Pinot Noir, 2020. So a little young, but it's very drinkable. It's very nice.
Oh, this is quite nice, actually. I mean, giraffe's got a bad rap. It's it comes from historically in France. They used to produce a lot of this, and they didn't do a very good job of it. So you had this like very average quality wine, and it got sort of associated with this term giraffe. So people say, "Oh, you got some giraffe." Oh, really? Mm-hmm. Okay, but this is actually from the Hunter.
Wow.
Winery up there that produced a single lot in 2014, which this is it, and they never did again. So, that's some awards. They got some gold medals. Seems like they're actually from wine shows too, and not just from random.
Are they real gold medals rather than just gold stickers people put on the bottle?
Yes, that's right. Here's some gold stars. What do they mean? I don't know. They were cheap, and it makes people buy more. So, yes.
Yeah, no, for sure. So today, first topic. An interesting one, and we might not get through all of it because I've taken some feedback, and we're going to try and restrict these to about 15-minute segments each. So we're already 5 minutes in, so we might end up doing two of these. But today we're talking about beyond standard IT. So everyone's pretty familiar now with the managed service provider who comes and looks after your servers and your Office 365 and your PCs and printers and networks and all of that lovely stuff. But we're going to talk about going beyond that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess IT in 2022, it's more a strategic thing than it is a tactical or a little side cost center. I guess it no longer can you just say, oh yeah, I've got a computer, I turn it on once a day and check if I've got any emails, then off I go and do some work. It's you're essentially connected 24/7 these days, and your business is connected 24/7, whether you like it or not. we are always online, and this is a bit about how much does your business relate to that. If your consumers,
how strategic is technology to your business when you know it's crazy strategic to your customers?
That's right. And does your business represent that to the customers, or do your customers, regardless of whether they're end consumers or whether they're other businesses, do they look at you and go, oh, I've got to place an order. Oh, it's with that company, the one that makes me use a fax. Or it's,
Yep.
oh, it's with this other one, the one I can type it straight in and know that within an hour, my product will be on a truck off towards me,
Yep.
sort of thing.
Yeah,
And
well,
that's
we know the answer to that. People want the product on the truck within an hour. In fact, people really want it delivered within half an hour, but
they
we're not there
do,
yet.
they do. And look, even in the IT side, we've got some suppliers, and the initial processes, even when we were starting out, and even just getting credit and that sort of thing set up. Before we had that set up, it'd be we put the order in there, we wait for someone to look at it, then they'd actually manually issue you a pro forma invoice, then you actually got to transfer funds to pay for the invoice, and once they actually verify it's cleared, they'll release your order to actually be shipped, and you look at that takes a few days to sort of go back and forth. Versus now that we've actually got things like automated credit and various things set up in places, we can just go online, go click, 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 and I know that within a minute that order is now in the production queue to be picked. It's all sorted, ready, and that level of speed and efficiency just from automating some business processes, it means a lot, and it means that I would order off that automated supplier versus the other one I know that's going to be annoying to me.
Yep. No, I see. I understand. So it's all about that moving from IT just being something you have to use to do emails and stuff to being this real business enabler, right?
It is. And the enabler is key. It improves the efficiency using tools that are available today to make your business more efficient.
Okay. So IT's not a cost center anymore, or shouldn't
It's
be.
way off. It's way off a cost center. And then this is the question: if you look at your IT engagement today with your provider or whoever your provider is, or look, even if you're doing it in house, treating as your own IT department being your IT provider, are you engaging with them in a break fix type way? Like, oh, this person can't log on, or my PC's not working, or oh, it's slow today, or whatever it is. Or are you actually engaging with them at a strategic level, going, these business processes, how do we make them more efficient? How do we become the competition rather than looking at everybody else as the competition that we have to beat?
Yep, no, for sure. No, I understand that. So that's it, and there's a mismatch for a lot of people then between
There is.
the way they're working with their IT provider or their technology provider versus what they should really be doing with technology.
Well, that's just it, and you can't get all there in one go. It's a process. It's a journey, and we've always had this crawl, walk, run, fly sort of concept, which is sort of fairly well known out in the industry. But it's a process that says wherever you are, just aim for the next level in let's say in the coming year or 2 years. What's going to get you that next level across all the different elements of the business where you're using IT, where your systems can be enhanced and so forth, and just over time you'll gradually become very efficient and automated, and you will be doing things that your competitors no longer are or are caught up with yet.
I hear you. So it's about helping those businesses profitably grow using technology, right?
That's right. And there's so much available today, and it's cheap.
Well,
it's cost effective. It's cost effective.
It's cost effective, but you also can't do it with rubbish technology, right? So, I was reading a thing on Facebook over the weekend where this poor IT guy out in America got a phone call from a customer saying, "I bought all these new PCs. Can you come and set them up?" And it's not really what he does, but he said, "Yeah, important customer. I'll come set them up." And he found they were all a refurbished lot, which were poorer performance than what the customer already had. Right, and he went, stop, Mr. Customer, going and buying things yourself because you think you get a better deal or whatever. He ended up these machines, they were really slow because they were all using legacy hard disks. Nothing was using a SSD or anything, and performance was woeful.
Yeah, look, we actually see this with some of the non-profits that we work with, in that people tend to donate their old machines to, look, what do we do with all this stuff? I'll give it to charity. Then you're feeling, I feel good about myself. I've given this stuff to charity, only realizing that you've donated a 5 or 6 year old computer that's going to cost them an inordinate amount of time and money to actually get operational. And then when they do, it's slower than anything you've ever seen before. And they either can't use it and then have to dispose of it. So now they've got a cost to get rid of the rubbish.
Yep.
Or when they do give it to people to use, is that this is all we've got. You've got to use this. And, well, I can't be productive with this. It takes me forever. I click and I wait. I click and I wait.
Yep. So I know you guys have got a framework, right? When you go into a new client, you've got a framework. And talk to me a little bit about that framework.
Well, It's fairly basic at the end of the day. It's at a high level. It's quite a detailed framework, but at the end of the day, there's three phases to it. One is stabilize. We look at where are the key issues, where are the biggest pain points that we need to sort of do something to very quickly in order to address the I'll say elephant in the room.
Yep. Well done. That's a really good segue. Well done.
There you go.
I'll just address the elephant in the room right now. Good call, Scott.
There you go. But what do we have to do just to get the business operational again, or wherever the key IT issue is that said, hey, I've got to go and change providers, or I've got to go and find someone that's more effective in these areas. What is the key driving concern? How do we put a quick something in place while we actually work on the more strategic side? So that's the stabilize part. We generally work on a plan to stabilize the environment so that it's not breaking or not consistently causing errors. Once it's stabilized, we then look at how do we modernize the environment? How do we bring it forward in today's operating world? Like, how do we get things into the cloud where that's the appropriate thing to do? How do we stop using old systems where newer, more efficient ways of doing those tasks or jobs exist? How do we move the business forward into that? And that means that we're now, once we finish sort of that level, we've actually got a modern foundation in the business to actually be able to grow from. And of course, that leads us to the third area that says utilize. How do we take all the data and the systems and the processes and actually use that to generate intelligence that we can help the business grow with? And that's the really exciting bit. But you can't do that on broken foundations, and that's the trick.
Yeah, no. So that whole get your foundations right. Quickly fix something because you want. That's also psychological, right? You want the staff in the customer environment to see that something got better, because you're just about to do a whole bunch of change. Then you get it up to date, and that foundation. And when we talk about strategic IT, and certainly as running a development team, there's not a lot. We don't want to be targeting legacy platforms when we write stuff. We really don't. There's all sorts of things to say we shouldn't. So
there's a better way.
Latest and greatest is always the better way. But you can't do it overnight.
No, look, it takes time. And I think that half of the issue in the industry today is correctly setting expectations and meeting those about what is really achievable within what time frame. You look at, hey, this may be a major business issue. I get that. But if we're going to fix it properly, maybe it's going to take 3 months or 6 months or something like that. Or maybe we have to put twice as many people on a project in order to achieve a faster result. But it's not something that's going to happen in a week. And
not to do things properly. And we hit this quite a lot. So it's something I like to talk to, in that you've really got 3 levers you can pull with technology. You can do it cheaper, you can do it faster, or you can do it with better quality, and you can only choose 2.
This applies to many things, but yes, you're right. And usually, unfortunately, the cheaper option is a key driver in a lot of things. That means you're going to either not have the quality or not have the speed to support it.
Yeah, you one of them's going to drop, and if you want the speed, and you want it cheap. If you want it expensive and quick, you can get great quality. But the quicker you want it, the more it's going to cost you within reason.
Yeah, and look, there's no magic solution to that. If you think that for some reason you're so different as a business that you can bypass those basic rules, then that's very interesting. I'd like to see that. And look, you may actually even be able to do it once for some strange reason because magic just aligned and things happen, but it's not a sustainable strategy.
Yeah, no, for
sure. Which
means
that if you're really going to be successful, plan things out, plan them properly, give them enough time and resource.
Cool. So we talked a lot about tech. And we talked about new technology and putting new things in and also that. You haven't said anything about people.
Oh, look, people are a critical part of this. The whole thing is, I could actually sit in a room and develop a brand new shiny system that addresses every single business issue and fixes every problem known to the business now and in the future.
Whoa, hold on. If you could really do that, you'd be worth your weight in gold. So theoretically we could, but no, Mr. Customer, we can't.
This is a theoretical discussion. Yes. Let's just say I could do that. But if I don't go and bring the people in the business on the journey with me and say, this is what we're doing, this is how this process is going to change, this is how we're going to be able to make things better for you. You won't have to do those, tasks anymore, but you have to do things this way. Now let's slowly introduce you to them. Now let's get you up to speed. And because if you don't do that, you're going to put new processes and new systems into a business, and that business is going to stop.
Yeah, no, you're right. And I've seen an awful lot of new technology projects roll out where the people haven't been trained and they're an utter disaster. And that can happen everywhere. And so we've got customers who, before we were involved, tried to implement systems and they're just done in an ivory tower. So you're telling me that proper management, change management, risk management, all that
change
stuff
management,
you learn in
risk
MBA
management.
school.
Yep. And it doesn't really, it's not the technology where the issue is with. It could be great tech, but as per anything, if I said you're driving that car, that's great. Yeah, if you've got a Model T Ford, for example, and you were back in 1930 or whatever it was, and I took you as a Model T Ford driver, took you out, and I stuck you in a Tesla today. So go for it. You'd look at all this and go, "What the? How do I drive this thing? What is
Where's
this?
the choke?"
Yes, yeah, that's right. And you wouldn't know what to do, and you'd have to slowly, over time, get your mindset around. This is all different. I've got to forget everything I know, and that day you would not be driving probably. You may be sitting on a nice comfy leather chair, but that's it. We've got to be careful because businesses react the same way. All of a sudden, everything stops because people don't know what to do.
So that's your part of your strategy of the crawl, walk, run, fly, slowly ramp up with these things. Now one other thing, which I know isn't on the things we're going to talk about, but I'll ask you your view because I like to throw some contentiousness out there.
Ooh.
My view is if you start a business on a continual change program, over time, change doesn't become a bad thing in the business, it becomes a good thing in the business. If you just do lumpy, massive change, it's always horrible. Your view?
Yeah, and people remember the horrible bits more than they remember the good bits. Look, it's a continual change, continual improvement, continual process changes and various things is it's very close to our hearts in IT. Because by definition, we're changing things. And it's very different in some other businesses where there's some fundamental skills where they are very consistent and used year on year on year. Maybe a bit of tuning here and there, but it doesn't change so much. But yeah, definitely in IT, there's a lot of change going on. And businesses that need to implement technology and utilize that technology for the betterment of achieving whatever they've got to achieve need to recognize there's going to be that continual growth cycle in the business, change cycle, risk cycle that you have to manage.
All the time. I get it. I get it. Scott, thank you so much. That was awesome.
That's all right. Thank you, Nick.
Everybody, welcome back for the new year. Thank you for listening. As you may or may not know, we're available on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, audible.com, anywhere you get podcasts. This will be published a little later on our audio podcasting platform. But thank you so much, and leave us a comment, leave us a like. Let us know something you'd like us to chat about or a wine you'd like us to drink. Oh, it's good. So from me, please give us a like. Subscribe, tell your friends. Word of mouth is the best thing in the world. And from me, all I can say is thank you so much for being with us today. Scott, thank you.
Great. Nick, thank you very much. Thank you, everyone.
Cool. Have a good day, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.